A Delphi man says he had no choice but to leave his apartment after a leaky roof caused water damage and mold, leaving the apartment uninhabitable.
And now he is asking for compensation from his previous landlord for moving expenses. News 18's Samantha Tiki has the story.
Randall Felix says he lived in this Delphi apartment on East Main Street for 12 years, but he says 6 years ago, a leaky roof caused water damage. And he says the water damage turned to mold, leaving the apartment an unsafe place for his family.
I've missed all kinds of work. My son's gotten sick. My girlfriend's gotten sick. It's just gotten to a point where you can't live there.
Felix says the problem started when roof leaks caused water damage in the residence. He says over the last 6 years, his landlords, Tom and Angie Whistler, made attempts to repair the damage, but the problem only got worse. Then 3 weeks ago, Felix says he had to leave the apartment at his expense. He says he wants to be reimbursed for the moving expenses, but says his landlords aren't returning his phone calls.
I couldn't eliminate the problem. I didn't have the money to move out. I finally was able to come up with the money and get ourselves out of this situation.
But the building's co-owner, Angie Whistler, tells a different story. She says Felix has never asked them to pay moving expenses and only asked the Whistlers to pay for medical expenses due to respiratory problems. Problems she says doesn't believe are mold related and will not reimburse any expenses to Felix.
There's not mold there that you're having problems with that. Granted, there has been some leaks. We know that, but it's not that kind of problem.
Whistler says Felix has been telling them he was planning to move and has not been in a lease for 2 years, allowing him to leave at any time. Whistler says she and her husband have a contractor ready to replace the entire roof and are prepared to fix all the damage inside, but she says repairs couldn't be made due to the way the tenants were living.
There was so much stuff. I mean, you just can't believe. It was piled high, so it was very difficult to work around in there.
Felix and his family now live in another apartment in Delphi and says since leaving their old residence, the respiratory problems have stopped. He says as of now, he doesn't plan to take any legal action in order to get his moving expenses reimbursed. In Delphi, Samantha Tiki, News 18.